about the fact that at Legacy, we do church on purpose. We do church on purpose. So with that being the case, what is our purpose? What's our main purpose as a church? And board and directors, don't respond, please. Board of directors, do you know now? Pardon me? Okay. So it should be to keep people out of hell. That's the whole mission. Education. Love on people. Okay. Hands and feet of Jesus. So we have 4 answers and only 3 different people. So you already gave me 2 different answers. So apparently you get. Huh? No. No, it's perfect. It's proven a point. If we, as the members of the church, if we, as the leaders of the church, cannot answer that unanimously in the same way, how are people going to know what vision to follow? And that's on me. So we had a meeting, I don't know, a month or so ago, maybe a month and a half ago, and I asked our board of directors that question. And among the 5 of us, guess how many of us had the exact same answer? 0. So, as a church, what is our purpose? What is our priority? Because when we understand that, everything else comes into focus. And we can understand everything else as long as we realize that it is to hit a target or to meet a goal. Everything that we do here is on purpose, and that purpose statement is this: equipping people to serve God and each other. Everything we do is about equipping people to serve God and each other. Now, built into that, there are multiple things. So what every one of you said is accurate, but if there's 100 people in a service here, and we're all saying 100 different things, how effective are we at reaching a community around us? But what happens, how much more effective do we get if we get to the point where 100 people answer that identically every time? What's your purpose? What's your focus? What's your main goal? To equip people to serve God and each other. So built into that, we have that, yes, we want them to come to Christ. Absolutely. Yes, we want to love on people. That's the part of loving, serving God and each other, okay? So first of all, I want you to understand that we do stuff on purpose here, and that purpose is to equip people to serve God and each other. So with that being the case, excuse me, let me ask you a question. What's the purpose of hospitality? Which one of the 2 ministries that we're going to talk about here tonight deals with hospitality. What's the That's part of it. What's the purpose of it? Back up. We're equipping people to serve God and each other. It is so important that we understand that. We don't make coffee. We're equipping people. We don't park cars. We're equipping people. We don't sing songs. We're equipping people. We don't just have class. We're equipping people. We don't do Kids Zone without purpose. We're equipping people, right? So we have to understand that. I think a lot of times with hospitality, and I have a lot of classes, actually. If I'd have taken 2 more classes, I'd have double majored in hospitality management in college. But a lot of times we think that hospitality is just making people feel good, right? Well, guess what? You can do that at a strip club. You can do that at a drug house. Yeah, temporarily. Do they make people feel good? They think they do. So hospitality can't just be about making people feel good. Does that make sense? So what is our purpose for hospitality? If it's not just to make them feel good, it's to equip people, yes? To serve God and to serve each other. We are very, very blessed to have guests, I think, every single week. Almost every single week, God gives us the honor and the privilege to have guests that come. So here's the new ministry. The new ministry is from the street to the seat. From the street to the seat. We need to understand that ministry starts when they pull off that street. The overwhelming percentage of people decide within 7 minutes, whether they're going to come back to a church or not. By 7 minutes, they have barely parked, barely got in the door, hopefully found a restroom, right, to run to it, and then maybe they're walking in within 7 minutes. They've not heard a song, they've not heard a message, they've not done any of these other things. So what we have to understand is that the hospitality here is vital. And it's not because we're making them feel good, but we'll talk about the purpose of hospitality more in just a minute. So I want to introduce to you this ministry from the street to the seat, from the street to the seat. And hopefully all of you have one of these cards. And for those of you that are watching us online, we'll get these cards to you. They'll be available to you. But I just want to go over this. And if you guys have any questions as we're going over this, just feel free to stop me, okay? But what we want to do is this. We are going to have, when they pull on the property, this is the first thing that they're going to see. So Chuck and Steve have made some type of a pole, I think. I've not even seen it yet. But they have made this to where as soon as they pull on the property, it's going to be their first encounter and their first contact. And it just simply says, first time, turn your flashers on for VIP parking. And then underneath that just says Legacy Church. So if they're here for another function. And then we're going to have somebody that's parking them, and they're going to be standing right out here at the corner. And if they look down the driveway and they see somebody with their flashers on, they're going to, first of all, they're going to welcome them. And actually, if you turn the card over to the back, we have the parking team. So this goes over kind of what the parking team, and Chuck is over that right now. But we just want them to be outside 20 minutes before a service. Now, 9 o'clock service, people show up about 2 till 5 after. The vast majority of them. But we want to be there, and we want to be prepared for those people. So we need our parking people there 20 minutes. We want to thank them for coming. So whether they have flashers on or whether they don't, that's their first point of contact. Can you see that? We're welcoming them. We're waving at them. We're smiling at them. We're thanking them for coming. And then we're just going to help them to park. If their flashers are on, they're going to be on a radio, and then they will radio in here to the person that's working. We're going to call this VIP guest, okay, or a VIP guide, and they're going to be on the radio with them. I'll talk more about that in just a minute, but they're going to let them know, hey, we have a first-time guest. So then we're going to have somebody at this front door, and that's going to be on the other side. That's our VIP guide, and they're going to go and meet them at the door. But for those who are parking, what they're going to do is they are going to guide them to these signs. And they are making some kind of a system to where these are going to go on the front of the gym. Just for Sunday mornings, they're going to go on the front of the gym. That is paved parking. It's directly, they can point them right through here are the doors, which actually they're going to walk through the doors with them. But we want them to have the very best parking spot, yes? As our VIPs, as our first-time guests. And so we're going to have this set up for them. That will be on the front of the building every Sunday that we have church, okay? So that's going to be the parking coordinators that are doing that part. Now, I had mentioned that we're going to have the VIP guides. This is really a newer ministry. And here's what we have come to understand. We realize that certain people come in and they don't really know what's going on. This is a bigger complex. There's approximately 5 or 6 different doors that you can come in when you get here. And people look around and they don't know. The point of hospitality is not to make somebody feel happy. The point of hospitality is to remove any negative, to remove any hindrances to where true ministry can happen. That's the goal of hospitality. So what we want to do is we want to do everything within our power to take away some of that anxiety, some of that feeling nervous. So here's what we're going to do. Each service, we're going to have people that are going to be standing up here at the front door, okay? And what they're going to do is they're going to have radio access to the parking team outside, and they're going to radio in. They're going to say, hey, we have a VIP on the way. And what we want you guys to do, or those of you that are going to be interested in serving in this ministry, is we want you to be at their door by the time they park. We want you to open that door for them. We want you to welcome them. We want you to then at that point kind of go through some of these things with those people that are pulling onto the property. All right? So if you'll just look at your cards, we'll go through this. You want to welcome them and thank them for coming, obviously. You want to walk in with them. Now, beside that, it says to observe. One of the most important things for those that will visit a church is whether or not they have children and how you as a church take care of their children. That's one of their greatest concerns. So what we want to do is if they have children that are of kids zone age or maybe even teenager, we want to go over some of the opportunities that they have. So we want to go over kids zone. We want to tell them where that's at. So the whole time this is going on, are you pointing? Yes, sir. Maybe, maybe, yeah. That's I've not thought of that. So I'll say maybe. Hmm. Uh-huh. Goofy. Oh, I know a perfect guy for that. So yeah, I mean, obviously the kids. I mean, it's going to be new to them. Kids don't do well with change. So here's what we want to do. By the time this is all going on, okay, so you've got to the car, you have opened the door for them, you're welcoming them, you're thanking them for coming, you're introducing yourself, you're getting their names, okay, their kids' names, and the whole time you're walking in the door, all right? And then at that point, we're going to have people at the front door. All right. Danny is going to be doing the first service. He's going to be at that front door. He's going to open that door for them. He's going to welcome them. He's going to thank them for coming. Do you understand that by the time they hit that door, that's the third point of contact? You realize that? They have the parking person. They have the VIP guide that's going to be meeting them at the door. You have the person at the door. That's 3 point of contacts before they ever hit the building. Trying to get rid of negative emotion. The true ministry can happen. And then as they come through that door, there's a big welcome sign right here. And then as they walk by, if they have kids, we're going over some kids zone stuff with them. So you can point right to that sign as you get to the hallway. Right here is our kids zone sign. And as you go up this door, and if you see they're still a little anxious, walk them upstairs. Show them where that's at. Okay. Then you'll go over the check-in process with them. You'll go through the check-out process with them. We can answer and train in all of these things. Today is just to give you a general idea of what is going on, okay? And then if it's at the 9 o'clock service, then we want to explain to them that we have discipleship after. And, we encourage you to stay for that, and you explain what discipleship is. You can explain that the staff will keep their kid in Kid Zone. If they stay for discipleship. If not, they need to go upstairs and to get them. Okay, all of that stuff. We need to tell them where our restrooms are. I mean, we've been here. We know that. So it's like, yeah, but when somebody is new and there's not huge signs, and our signs here, I mean, there's a decent amount of facility, they don't really know where to go. These are things that we need to be telling our VIP people where things are. So it's an important thing to know where the restrooms are, and you can just point that out to them. You want to let them know where the welcome desk is. And the reason you want to do that is because you're going to have a Connect card in your hand when you go to that car. And you're going to be talking about a Connect card. You're going to be going that information, and you're going to let them know, hey, if you'll fill that in and turn it in right here at the welcome desk, they have a gift for you. Okay? You'll let them know that there's a coffee bar. If they want that, that's fine, that's there for them. Help them find a seat if necessary. I would even suggest we need to ask them, I think, and I didn't put this on here, but ask them, hey, did somebody invite you? How did you hear about us? On our new Connect card, Jeannie's ordering, that's on there. So we can know what's been effective. What forms of outreaches are working? Is it social media? Is it a personal invite? Are they looking for a certain person? And then hopefully we can help connect them. And here's what I would suggest. If that person is there by themselves and you see that they're just kind of sitting around and they don't know anybody and they feel out of place, your job the rest of that day is to sit there and have church with that person. Sit there and have church. I mean, move your family to them. Do whatever you need to do. Set them right beside where you're going to sit so we can love on that person. Okay? And then it is very important that those people find me. All right? Don't drag them. Don't drag this first-time guest to wherever I am and drag them around. Say, oh, he's over there. Hold on. Oh, gosh, now he's moved over there. Hold on, let me go over here. And you drag them around like a pony, right? You just go ahead and help them to have a seat. You come and you get me so that I can go personally and meet that VIP person. And then also, I want you to find at least one of the worship team. You find at least one of the worship team. And they're going to be in the room. They're going to be here, and they're supposed to be, speaking to people and speaking to guests and building those relationships. But you find one of them at least to invite to that person, okay? So here's what we're doing. We're doing ministry from the street all the way through all those processes to the seat. So think about this. These are the points of contact they have before the first song is even sung. Your parking person, your VIP guide, your front door greeter, your pastor, your worship leader. Hopefully you're introducing them to whoever's at the welcome desk. That is 6 points of contact by the time they sit down in a seat. We don't want to overlook the importance of loving on people that God sends here. Amen. Do you see value in that? So that is from the street to the seat. Okay, you got anything there you want to add so far? Okay. So then after the service, just quickly after the service, here's what we would like for our VIP guides to do. We would like you to go back and find that person. Okay? And we want you to thank them for coming and ask them, do you have any questions? Because at that point, they've experienced a service. And just ask them, are there any questions? Is there anything that I can help you with that you want more information on? Okay? So at that point, all right, for our VIP guides, that kind of finishes your responsibilities. But what we want to do is we want to do ministry from the street to the seat, and then from the seat to the street. Because we want to celebrate them home. Yes? We want to celebrate them out of here. So if you turn your cards over, at the park we have the parking team. At the top we have the parking team. We went over that. And then at the bottom we have from the seat to the street. So this is going to be our exit team. Our exit team. So during the closing prayer, or at 10:15 for discipleship. Because here's what Jeannie brought to my mind. We can't just do this at the end of each worship service, because hopefully people at the first worship service stay for discipleship. So the end of technically their worship experience is after discipleship. So this will happen, the exit part will happen 3 times during the morning 2 services. All right? And here's what we want to do. We're gonna have some signs here. Can I have some volunteers? Can y'all come up here? Yeah, well, I want them to come and hold them. So I need like 6 or 7 of y'all, if you would, to come up here and just get a sign, please. And we're just going to stand right across here. So what we want you to do is during the closing prayer or at 10:15 for discipleship.
I don't even have my times right. It's 11:15. I don't even know what time church ends.
So 15 minutes before discipleship is out.
So when we add another service, I'm really going to be just way gone. Just say.
So we want you to head to the kitchen door. We want you to head to the kitchen door. And we want you to go outside to the grassy area along the left side of the driveway. And you're going to hold your signs. Okay? You're going to, come on. Thank you. You're going to hold your signs. All right? Nope. And we don't even, so here's what we want to do. These are celebration signs. And as they're leaving the service, as they are leaving the service, we're waving. We're smiling. We're thanking them for coming, and we're telling them, I don't know what one I got. Now's the time. You can do this. The best is yet to come. God loves you. We love you. You've got a purpose for your life. What does yours say, Herb? We're so glad you came. See you next week. Have a great week. We want them to know, because the enemy starts to fight them as soon as they walk out this door. And as they're leaving this place, we want them to know that you are here for a reason, that we love you, and that now it's time to put what you've learned, put what you've heard into action. That is ministry, from the seat back out to the street. New ministries, from the street to the seat, and from the seat back to the street. Okay? Thank you, guys and gal. Do y'all have any questions on that? All right. Y'all got any questions on that? Okay. So here's the opportunities to serve. The opportunities to serve are to help park, to be a VIP guide, to work the front door, or to be part of the exit team. Okay? All areas to serve. It's not overly complicated. You have to have a little bit of information to be a VIP guide. But everybody can get involved in these ministries. Okay? Regardless of how long you've been here, regardless of your level, all the people can be involved in those ministries. Right now, that's going to be Jeannie.
That would be me
For
for
right
now.
unless they're interested in parking. If you're interested in parking, then you need to see Chuck Hatcher. Okay? You need to see Chuck Hatcher. And we're going to work on having a VIP guide coordinator. We'll work on that.
I'm so excited you guys are online. Hey, just see us. We want to put you to work serving.
She reminds me of that movie. Hi. She had ice cream. I blame Dawn. All
I only
right.
ate half. Yes.
We are, yes. We
For
have
those of you
talked-
online, Danny's talking about main entrance. Pastor's going to.
Yeah, Danny said, for those of you that can't hear him, he's talking about how for those that come in late, that, maybe the VIP guides are in already, and maybe the parking coordinators are in already. It'd be a good idea to have main entrance sign over the top of this. We have talked already to the site coordinators. She has talked to the person that has the lease on this building, and those conversations are in the works. Okay? Yeah. So we have already had those conversations. Good point. Anybody else so far?
If anybody has questions online, they can, Jeff, you'll just tell us and we'll,
Y'all
y'all just type it in.
Type them in, and then Jeff will let us know, and we'll answer those questions.
We are so techy. Type your questions in. We'll take them. If we have enough time, we'll hope we'll have enough time. We'll finish. Take your questions. I feel so important. There was somebody from Florida watching today, too. Not just Fuji, Japan, but St. Petersburg, Florida.
Yes.
Just
yes.
saying. Am I
All
still in the screen? Okay.
Yeah. You need me to have a seat?
I'll let you know.
That's ministry behind the hedges. Yes.
Yes.
When we're reaching them in Japan, when we're reaching them in Florida, you're reaching them in Virginia, you're reaching them in Tennessee.
We had Tennessee today also.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So we're going behind the hedges. All right. It's time to get a little deeper. Okay. It's time to get deeper. We're going to start in all the seats have a next step. Do we have these now? We're going to let you guys look at these, but these we have to have back, okay? These are next step cards. These are next step cards. So what we want to do is we want to help people in the next step of their spiritual journey. What we realize is that as fast as the church is moving, that there's certain times stuff gets by us. We had people that made a decision to dedicate their life to Christ, and we didn't even know. I mean, we didn't even know. Kenny stood up in the middle of a song. I mean, not like an altar call song, but just in the middle of the Spirit of God was moving, and I had him sing it a second time and said something, I don't even remember, something like, if anybody has dedicated their life to the Lord and they want to stand up and let people know, he stood up. That was his declaration of faith. There wasn't no coming to the altar and praying the way a lot of us have done. So what we want to do is every week, every single week, we're going to have a call to action. And they're going to have these next step cards. So if you'll just take these, and if you'll open these cards, you can just look at this, and at the top it's just got some information about them. Then it talks about the 5 things God wants you to do while you're here on earth: worship, fellowship, discipleship, ministry, and outreach. So at the bottom of that page down here, it says, what will your next step be? What will your next step be? And the first one on there, on the left side, it says my commitment. And then on the right side, it says my response. So what we want to do is to love people and disciple people through this process. And I'll just go over the process, and then I'm going to back up and break it down a little bit. First is salvation. From salvation to baptism. From baptism to foundations class. From foundations class to shape class. From shape class to discipleship class. From that to join a life group. To that to serve in my church. And from that, telling others about Christ. What we want to do is mentor them. We want to coach them from step to step to step. Now, this is the new ministry, one of the new ministries. We're going to have, I'm calling it a coaching program. Jeannie's calling that a mentor program. But here's what we want to do. We're going to have people that once they make a decision for Christ, and this will be every week, their call to action. We're going to ask them to take this next step card and to go back here beside the next step sign. So y'all see that sign? It's been up for 2 weeks now. And that just says, turn in your next step card here. New believers, meet your mentor today. Okay? And here's what we're going to do. We're going to have people who are going to be spiritual coaches. And they're going to be spiritual mentors in these people's lives. Now, I will tell you this. Those people will have requirements. Those people will have a deeper responsibility. That is a leadership thing. When we allow you to impact the thought process of new followers of Christ, there's more required of you. Yes? I mean, we can have people to park. We can have people to welcome you and walk you in, and there's value in that. But for you to coach somebody spiritually, I'm just being as blunt as I can be, there's more required there. Because here's how that process is going to work, okay? So when you go and you turn in your next step, and you come and you tell them, okay, that preacher guy said, if I made a decision for Christ, I need to take this and fill it in. So I go and I fill this out and I hand it back there to the coaching table, to the mentor table, whatever, to the next step table. And then I'm going to come and then they're going to hand me this study, which is just for starters, okay? Just for starters. And so you're going to coach them through this. You're going to disciple them. You're going to encourage them to not just stop, make one decision, a get out of hell decision, but to really start on this relationship thing. And this has seven different Bible studies. They're short. It's not over the top. A lot of questions that they can fill in. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to encourage them. Say, you know what? When you finish this, and you're going to introduce yourself, hey, my name's Danny. Hey, my name's Kim. And your name is, and you're going to get their name, okay? I would encourage you, if you guys are comfortable with this, for you to say, hey, here's my number in case you have a question as you're going through this book and the enemy's going to be coming and hitting you. I want you to know that I'm here to mentor you. I'm here to encourage you and to help you through this process. You're not alone. You with me? You're coaching them. You're mentoring them. You're, in my opinion here, this is the truth. You're basically pastoring that person. That's why I am not real easy to just say anybody can do this. Yes, we have a question? We could call it discipleship other than our education hour. We call discipleship. It is definitely part of discipleship. Oh, it is. Oh, absolutely. Yes, Cheryl, you're right. It is discipling. Absolutely. This is kind of what it looks like. So we're going to tell them, hey, here's my cell phone number. If you're okay with that, by the way, it's going to kind of be part of the process. Okay. You're not going to have to spend an enormous amount of time reaching out to them every week. You don't want to overwhelm them, but we want them to know you're not alone, man. We're here for you. We want to partner with you and love you through this. And I tell you what, as you're going through this, if you have any questions, then feel free to text me or, feel free to call me. And, and I tell you what, when you finish filling this out, I'm going to give you a gift. Is that a deal? And then, so when they fill that out, look at Vanna. Woo, she is cute. So when they fill this out, then they're going to give them this gift. Okay. And Jeff's already trying to buy one. So it's even blue on top. It's Legacy Blue. I didn't think there was such a thing as Legacy Blue, but apparently what we do is blue.
We're going to have a lot of people that want to get saved again so they can do their thing. And you know what? If you guys need to get saved again, just come on, get saved again. When you go through that, we'll give you a mug. What? Kim says the mentor should have one.
One of these?
Jeff wants to know, where's he get his book?
Let me explain something to you guys. Can you tell that the church is willing to invest in our people?
Yes.
Can you tell that? Can you see that's part of our culture? I'm not interested in building big buildings. Well, that's not true. I am interested in building big buildings.
There's one particularly, yeah.
But that's not our focus.
We'll give that to you at a shortly later
We
date.
will never, Legacy as a
Shortly.
church, we will never, ever, ever be a slave to a property, and we have to stop loving on people and meeting needs. If we can't feed the hungry, if we can't take care of widows and love on kids that don't have parents and put tools to disciple people, if we can't put tools and equip people to serve God and each other, we need smaller buildings. Okay? So, I will tell you this right now, and I don't even have to ask the board about this. If you're willing to be a coach, if you're willing to be a mentor, we will give you a cup. And
Absolutely.
you can buy the book. No, I'm kidding. We'll give you the book too. Okay?
Because you're going to have to study the book and be familiar so that if they have a question, you have already read the lesson. You're already very familiar with every lesson. So, and you've already got your notes in your book, so you can refer right back to that book, and y'all can talk through it a little bit.
So all of the mentors can thank Kim later for your tumbler. Okay? So
Awesome
when they
job,
turn
Kim.
that in,
Yes.
and when you turn in your Just for Starters and you come back to your coach, you come
You
back
get
to
your
your
mug.
mentor, and they give you that tumbler. You say, man, I'm so proud of you. You're going to look over some of that with them, just quick.
Yeah.
And you're going to make sure that it's filled out and then say, okay, do you have any questions about this? Is there anything that I can answer for you? And when they fill that out, you're going to say, okay, I got another step for you. What are we teaching them? It's the next step. It's the next step. So when they finish that, we want to give them, what on earth am I here for? What on earth am I here for? And you're going to give them this book. This book goes into a little bit more detail, and I want to read the first paragraph of this. It says, it all starts with God. And in bold it says, it's not about you. This might be kind of shocking. Just some new believers thinking, what the heck kind of church have I come to? All right? It's not about you. Here's just the first paragraph. The purpose of your life is far greater than your own personal fulfillment, your peace of mind, or even your happiness. It's far greater than your family, your career, or even your wildest dreams and ambitions. If you want to know why you're placed on this planet, you must begin with God. You were born by His purpose and for His purpose. And we want to start immediately with our new believers, discipling them that we do church on purpose. So then this is based on The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren. And there's 6 lessons in this. 6 lessons in this that go on what on earth am I here for and those type things. When you finish that.
Let me just say this real quick. So what we're doing here is we have the shape class. You know, you got your little check marks to go to foundations and then shape. This is in preparation to head to the shape class, which is going to go in much greater detail with this, but it gives them a start. So if it's not time for a shape class yet, because we're working on increasing our foundations classes, running them more often, increasing our shape classes, running them more often so that people can get in quickly, but they can't get in quickly right now. So this gets them on the right track and just kind of builds and prepares for that. So when they turn that in, guess what?
They turn that in, we're giving them
going to tell them
gift.
they get another gift.
All right.
Apparently is the shirt to be baptized in. Lots of people get baptized in that shirt because they already have
Until
one.
we buy them another one, which I'm thinking of. But anyway, we'll figure that one out. Yep, I'm thinking of I have decided. But anyway, there's several reasons for this. I won't go into that with you guys. What we want them to understand is that there's somebody there for them. That's the coach part. That's the mentor part. We also want them to realize, man, they're like giving me stuff.
Nice stuff.
Investing. You see that? They're investing in me. Maybe there is a purpose. Maybe I am somewhat important to them, and I'm not just a number. I'm not just a person. I'm not just a butt that fills a seat. You see what I'm saying? We are creating a culture in this church that builds value in people, that helps people to understand they have a purpose, to understand there's a reason that they're here on this earth. Okay? So this is going to be our next step. Now, on the next step cards, if you notice there, so that's, again, let's go over that again. My commitment, and then to the right would be my response. So they have salvation, they have baptism, and you're going to kind of coach them through this process, okay? Foundations, class, shape, discipleship, join a life group, serve in my church, and tell others about Christ. That serve in my church, if you look to the right side of the pamphlet, for those of you online, I know you can't read that, but over here on this side, you're going to see a lot of different areas that you can serve. So these are serve opportunities, all right? And it just says you can circle any of the areas that you're interested in. So here's one of the ways this can be used as a tool. For this, maybe it's somebody that's already saved. Maybe they're already baptized and God has just led them to this church for whatever reason. We want them to know that they can serve. So these are some areas that we have broke down to where if they are interested, they can circle these boxes. Now understand me. Just because you circle these things does not mean you automatically jump into these things. For example, one of them here is adult education. That is something that if you want to be involved in adult education, that is going to be a process. If you want to be involved in the worship team, that's going to be a process. So it's not that, oh, I'm checking this and that's what I'm going to do. You're letting us know what your interests are so we can coach you to that level. So we can mentor you to that level. So these are just a few of them, okay? In hospitality, welcome desk, greeting, parking, coffee bar, food prep, special events. Under education, you have different age groups there. Under worship, it's broke down to vocal, instruments, and mime. You have the prayer team. Under the technology, you have sound, lights, Facebook, PowerPoint, website, directory, video. And then under facility, there's a lot. You have maintenance, restocking, repair, security, cleaning, purchasing, landscaping, and snow removal. Under outreach, there's the lunch box and then a place for other. Maybe there's some ideas that people have. Maybe there's some causes that you want to champion. That's an opportunity for you to do that. And then at the bottom on that side, it just says any special talents or abilities that you're willing to share. Maybe there's some that we haven't listed. Maybe you say, you know what? I'm a pretty good mechanic, and you know what? I'd be willing for the single women and for the widows and those who are struggling. I'd be willing, if the church would buy the oil and the oil filters, I'll come up here and I'll do maintenance on their cars for free. That's ministry. Do you understand? We have to understand that you don't have to just sing, preach, or teach for it to be ministry. We can change oil, we can mow grass, we can carry groceries, we can bake food, we can do whatever. All of these are ways that we can minister, okay? So what we're trying to do with this basically is to close the proverbial back door. Y'all have heard that? We got to close the back door. There's so many coming in, but man, as many go out as many come in. If we're coaching them through the processes, if we're loving on them, if we're investing in them, hopefully they see the value, the purpose, and the benefit for their life. And they realize that we're not just blowing smoke. We're not just about numbers and putting butts in seats. We mean what we say when we say we're here to love you and we're here to disciple you, okay? Any questions about next step? Any questions about being a coach or a mentor? Yes? Absolutely, yeah.
Can
Yeah.
they hear you online, Jeff? I'm sure.
I hear
Okay,
you through
so
monitor. I
so
don't
Jeff
know.
wants
Are
to
y'all
know,
hearing
can we
him?
add the
Okay.
yeah. So Jeff wants to know, can we add the pastor's business card to that? Yes. I just want to just hit this just for one. So the next step cards are going to be also in the seat pockets with the Connect cards. The next step cards are, he is going to do a twofold call to action every week. The first fold call to action is, if you've made a commitment to Christ, you need to fill this out. Go see your mentor. Go find your mentor. Go turn that in. We want to give you some. We want to give you, get you started on the right track. The second call to action is, if you're serving God and you like it here and you want to serve, the right side of that card, you're going to fill out your information, circle. You can drop it into the offering box, and then you know what we're going to do? We're going to give it to the right people so we can contact you to coach you to be involved in wherever it is you want to serve. So we're going to offer twofold call to action: commitment as well as service call to action, often, every week, all the time, all the time, all the time. Because we have new people every week. So guess what? You all might be like, I already know that. Well, not them 15 new people that came in, and I'm one of these 100 share kind of persons. As soon as we get this thing launched, don't you even think for a second we have enough of them parking spots, because we don't. We already don't have enough first-time VIP parking. We just don't, because when we're ready and we're prepared, God's going to send them like crazy. So we need to be ready, big ready.
Right. Y'all got questions? Yes.
One more. How many people are you saying put back here per service?
Pardon me?
How many people are you saying put back here for the next step as a mentor per service? How many needs to be back here at the end?
I
For
see
that.
two. I see a man and a woman.
Minimum.
Yeah.
And that, again,
we are not going to have a man coaching a woman, and we're not going to have a woman coaching a man. Just because if we want to have them to have access through the week, I want to protect our women. I want to protect our men. I want to protect the integrity of ministry here in this church. Listen, you guys know me. I'm not saying that a woman doesn't have the spiritual ability to help a guy. I am not saying that. What I am saying is that we need to be very, very careful to protect the integrity of not just us and our ministries, but of the person that we have the honor to love on. Okay? So that's kind of what I see. Here's the truth, man. This is a starting point for us to get to what God wants to do.
Yeah.
Listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully. God will not send the people. He won't send more people if we're not willing to love on the people we have now. He won't do it. If we don't love on 200 people, how's he going to send 300 or 400 people? And guys, listen to me. Listen to me. For those who have a servant's heart, I'm going to serve where God wants me to serve. I don't love parking cars. I don't love walking out with umbrellas when it's raining or when it's snowing. And I don't love taking out trash. But if it removes hindrances so true ministry can happen, the question is this: is it worth it? Is it worth it? We have got to love God's people effectively so God can allow us the honor of loving on more people. Okay? All right, other questions? Yes?
Online question.
Okay.
What about mentors for kids or teens?
Wow, that is a great question.
You can thank Cheryl Kincaid for that one.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't want to shoot from the hip. Hopefully, those relationships are being built with discipleship teachers who have the honor of teaching them on a weekly basis. We here have now helped our leaders in the education departments to know and to understand that since we just do First Wednesdays now, that we encourage them, the church is going to pay for at least one outing a month. We want them to be building those relationships outside of church, outside of corporate church and that education. We want them to be building those type things outside of here and in a different environment. That is a great question. That is a great question. And outside, I guess the question might be, especially if it's coming from the high school teacher, the question really is, are we going to do that mentoring and coaching program? And I can see already some of maybe our more experienced young adults that have some depth, coaching and mentoring there, and discipling them to some next steps too. A great question, but we will talk about that. We'll pray about that before I give you answers. Okay, other questions? Okay, here's what we have to realize. Why we do things is more important than what we do. So get this. We're not parking cars, Director Hatcher. We're not parking cars. What are we doing, Chuck? We're equipping people. Thank you. We're not parking cars. We're equipping people to serve God and each other. You're not just working the front door, Danny. Roger, you're not just greeting people. What are you doing? You're equipping people. You're not just walking somebody into the church and telling them where they can go use the bathroom and introducing them to the pastor and one of the worship team. What are you doing? You're equipping people to serve God and each other. You're not just like the pizza dude waving the sign. What are you doing on the exit team? What are we doing? We're equipping people to serve God and each other, okay? So, the ministries that we've introduced tonight, from the street to the seat, and from the seat to the street. Ministry happens when they pull on this property, and it does not quit until they leave this property. And then when they're here, we want to coach them, we want to mentor them, and we want to disciple them. All right? All right. Yes.
It depends.
It does.
It
I mean,
depends.
ultimately, once a month. However,
Currently, more than.
I'm just going to be real.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right now, we have to have the heart to realize I got to do it twice a month right now. I want to be careful about that because you can break down a horse before the horse should be broke down. But yeah, so there might be right now the situation to where instead of, coaching once a month, we may have to have people coaching twice a month. You know what I mean? But ultimately, it's just once. Because what we want people to do, and that's one of the great things about having 2 services a week, the goal for us as leaders is for you to serve in one and then receive in one. You serve in one, you know what I mean? And you're working and you're taking care of whatever it is. And then the other, you just receive what it is that God has for you. So, I mean, that is really the ultimate goal.
If they want it. If they want it.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
You're
sure.
right. Yes.
It's 100 chairs, baby. There's going to be a bunch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
And Danny, so for you all online, Danny's talking about the mentoring. We know when we're set up and we're prepared, God's going to send people to be converted and to make commitments. So he was saying you could have 4 or 5 or 6 people on your week, and you're going to be mentoring them. And so he's talking about just the seriousness of that commitment. Got to be prepared for that. To answer some text messages, to be available. It's absolutely going to happen. And what do we learn in discipleship? The passion. When the passion is there, it's not work. It is just awesome and joy because you get to do it. And that's a passion and love for Christ and the things he's doing. And she's like, yes, there was 6. Yes. And we're so excited about it. And somebody like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to answer text messages all week. You know, it's the difference in attitude. Mm-hmm. Okay, guys online, Danny's again mentioning the importance of the attitude of the mentor will set that tone as to whether they continue, this new convert continues on the journey, or whether they even want to come back to church, or they want to continue on the journey. So our attitude is very, very important. Yeah, just going right along with that.
Why? Here,
Yes.
we'll teach you how. We'll teach you how.
Yes, we will.
There'll be cards in your hands. For those that are going to be VIP guides, we don't want you sitting there thinking,
Oh,
well,
no,
what do they
what do I
expect
do?
to me? What? You have a card in your hand. So you guys, you'll have a card in your hand, and you're going to know. Now, you don't just pull up and say, hold on a minute. Thank you for coming. Hold on a minute. I'm glad you're here. Hold on. You got a kid? Hold on, let me check that. You know what I mean?
Be a little more familiar with it than
we
that.
We have to understand. But get this, if you know why,
Yes.
if you know why, you'll care enough to figure out the how.
I think Jeff had something.
That boy loves microphones.
There we go. I'm
He does
trying to
love
get people
microphones.
online to hear me, okay? I've actually got 2 questions, one for myself and then one posed online. I'll ask the one online first. Does this change the regular greeter's job?
No.
And then as far as my question, let's say myself and Cheryl, we would be interested in doing the mentoring program. However, she serves with the technology, and I'm at the board several times. Would that be a hindrance to doing that? Or because I don't care to wait to tear down my stuff until after I'm done with that, because that's more important than this. But would that be a hindrance?
That's not a hindrance. That's going to be a learning opportunity for you.
Okay.
Okay. Let me help you. Let me help you. Is it important? Is it important for us to pray before a service? Robin Hatcher, are you supposed to be up here praying before a service? Why not? She's loving on the people. The prayer team, what Miss Barbie has organized there, is vitally important. Vitally important. But for whatever reason, you guys know me. You know Miss Robin. You know our hearts. We don't put ourselves up here. For whatever reason, when people come to visit, if somebody has spoke to them that they see in this area, it is a big deal. So we prioritize that we are going to get to guests. We're going to speak to people. So Jeff, what I say to you is you have the ability to train people to run that board. Cheryl, you have the ability to train people to run PowerPoints. We have got to be effective leaders, put people in positions so they can do what they can do and you do what only you can do. Okay? So you have to prioritize. Okay? Great leaders effectively train somebody else so they can do other tasks so you can do things only you can do. Okay? So, to say it's a hindrance, what I want you to hear is I need to be looking for people to disciple. Okay? All right. Other questions? Great questions? Gene? Okay. So we want to celebrate them in? Yes? We want to celebrate them out.
Yeah.
We want them to feel what it is that God's doing. Okay? So I appreciate you guys coming out on a Sunday night, and I appreciate those of you tuning in. This
Made us
will
feel
be
so
available.
important right now. So important we feel. All these online questions.
All right, so this will be available. I don't know if they're going to put it on Facebook. I don't know if they're going to put it on the YouTube channel, but it will be available for people that haven't got this, okay? So if you guys see questions moving forward, if you're interested in signing up in this, you need to see Miss Jeannie for the VIP guides. We will be approaching people about the coaching and the mentoring because we will be a little bit more guarded with that. And then if you're interested in parking, you can see Chuck, all right? But in a nutshell, there is no reason anyone in this church is not serving in some capacity. No reason at all that people are not serving in some capacity. All right? I'm going to ask you to stay and we're going to pray, be dismissed.
Yeah, we'll get those on the way. Yeah, y'all just leave them in your chair or bring them up here. You gotta have those back.
All right. Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for allowing us to come out tonight. And thank you for helping us to realize the importance of doing hospitality the right way and for the right purpose. Help us not just to make people happy, but help us to remove hindrances so real ministry can happen. So that they are introduced to you, so you can speak to their hearts. And God, I thank you for those who are going to serve. I thank you for them. I thank you for their obedience. I thank you for those who are going to be our VIPs. I thank you for the lives you're going to save. I thank you for the eternities that you're going to change and the differences that you're going to make in people's lives, in their marriages, in their homes, and in their eternities. God, we are humbled and we are honored that you allow us to represent you. And God, I pray that we never, ever, ever forget that that is exactly what we're doing. That we're not parking cars, we're not walking people in, but that we are representing Jesus Christ to people that don't know you. So God, I pray that you would help us to represent you well, that we love on people, that we are your hands, that we are